Hey guys, it's me, EODGamer here. So today we have an exciting one. As you can see right in the middle of the screen, you have Twitch chat live. We're doing this live on stream. If any of you ever want to join us, feel free to join us at twitch.tv/EODGamer. But in this video, I want to talk about best teams for Rappa. Regardless of what, the promise for you in this video is you will have a team for you, regardless of whether you're a new player, you have freaking every 5-star in the game, or you don't have any 5 stars at all, regardless of which, there will be a team for you. And I always like to start things first off with a big overview of everything. Let's take a big picture down, so top-down approach. What exactly does Rappa do, and how will she benefit your account? For any of you looking to build break teams in general, for example, like up here, if you maybe do not have Firefly, or even if you do have Firefly and you're looking to expand into future teams, future-proofing your team compositions, then Rappa will be an interesting consideration. Understanding how to build teams for her will be very, very fun as well. So out of all of this, she plays best in break teams. She is okay in skill point hungry teams because her whole kit revolves around using her ultimate and then enhancing her basic attacks. That doesn't use any of the skill points at all. The only thing that uses her skill points is like her skill ability, AoE fashion, which is like nothing much. So you most of the time will not be using her skill, which is why she's relatively skill point neutral a character, or maybe just slightly negative. Hyper carry, not too bad as well. If you're looking to play her in hyper carry teams, it is possible. Might not be the best, that's why they are all dotted over here, because they are not she's not exactly made for those kits. Fast F often, because her out, after she uses her out, she goes again. She action advances and stuff like that. So very quick, for those of you who are looking for like multiple hits characters, she also scales off decently well with speed. Now, let's zoom in. Since break is probably the one that everyone's going to be focusing on, let's talk first about break duo DPS. Now this, you can always find a very, very quick summary of all the different categories. In this break duo DPS, we are primarily focusing on players who have Firefly and Boot Heal. A lot of us have it, but don't worry if you don't, there'll be another section as well in this video for you, which is right after this one. But this is interesting because right now in the game, we have characters like Harmony MC, we have characters like Runmei. These two are very nicely fitting into one of the 2 slots already, and there's just no space at the moment for a second break DPS, because not like as if any of us are taking out our sustain characters anytime soon, but in future, we might have future break units that specialize in a dual break DPS role, that this will be very, very interesting. So one of your important considerations is this one over here. If you are playing a double DPS in future, so building up for future, this is good where you can run the double DPS Firefly Rappa, double DPS of Rappa as well as Boot Heal. Both of them are decent because Boot Heal offers you single target, Rappa offers you a bit more AoE, Firefly implants weakness breaking in an AoE for fire. You get a lot of imaginary break. So you cover your elements with these team compositions. And for now, even if you do not have Runmei, who is working a lot better in this com, Harmony MC can also be decent as well. It's a great alternative for those of you who missed out on Runmei. You just don't have the resources. Maybe you are building other teams. You build like Fei Xiao teams, and you also like build, for example, other team compositions like your follow-up teams, your Akirion Nihility teams. These are all other things that you want to consider. Utility, pretty much the standard few. But now, let's go on to the next one. This is more for the future. That's why you mentioned future break teams that you're planning to build, like maybe other characters who scales off break. I'm not sure why some of these images are quite enlarged on the screen. Who knows, right? At this point, let's talk about what if you do not have any break and you're looking to expand into break teams. So one way you can do it is basically slapping in her Rappa in team compositions that otherwise Firefly would have been. This is a lot more cost efficient, right? You save a lot of resources. For those of you, maybe you didn't get Firefly, you didn't manage to pick her up, you're not planning to pull for a rerun because her rerun is with a lot of other characters that you're very interested in. This is an example of a first way in if you really wanted to explore the angle of break. Or any of you who just like Rappa's design a lot, you want to main her and stuff, this could be one of the proxies that you can do. Exactly the same like Firefly team compositions. Harmony MC gives you that super break. Runmei helps you extend the duration of weakness, breaking longer so that you can super break them even more. And of course, a character that scales off with break, like Lingsha, Gallagher, will be very nice in the last slot over here. Next one, Mono Imaginary. So now, at this point, we have tons of imaginary characters, and the benefit of having a lot of imaginary characters now is you have massive amounts of elemental coverage for imaginary. Some of us, maybe we didn't get lucky picking up Doctor Ratio. We are looking to play maybe just pure teams of the same element. Very, very nicely. The best support, like that is very cheap as well, cost effective, is Harmony MC. And this goes really well, goes super well with a character like Rappa because they synergize very well together. Yukong is also on banner, so any of you who are looking for a cost-effective pickup, she buffs a lot of attack, which Rappa scales off with, so it's very nice. She does buff like crit rate, crit damage, and it's not that great at E0 compared to a lot of other characters, other options, but she is one of the best, the only imaginary for now until we get Sunday Fun Day. As of time of recording, it's on a Sunday as well, so it's a Sunday Fun Day. But other options that you have is like Welt in the pivot slot that you can choose. Pretty flexible, so you might even have a case where the enemy don't even move at all because you have like super slow on the enemy with Welt, and you have imaginary break which also slows down the enemy, or even a double DPS comp with a bit of March 7 Hunt together with a character like Rappa. Maybe you can put her Shifu buff on one of the Harmony supports or your sustain in last slot. And of course, utility, we currently have only 2 imaginary characters in the game, which is Luota as well as Aventurine. So that's it for more of like the meta teams. Now let's talk about 2 fun ones, because one of the biggest things I want to talk about is Honkai Star Rail is in a situation where everyone's like playing the same meta teams, right? I want to like talk about some fun teams in case any of us want to just be derp, want to enjoy the game a little bit more, playing with like thematic teams, just to enjoy doing our dailies rather than just running the same teams. So this is very, very fun. Chat actually helped me think about this really, really well. And we have a theme to actually talk about. So in this video, this category over here, graffiti teams, characters that play is like similar styles. You either mess up, you clean up, or whatever not. Rappa and Silverwolf, personally, I think they look like super similar in terms of like the overall style, overall design. One is like a literal hackerman's, and the other one is of course Rappa, who we all know. Utility slot. Okay, this one is not as exciting as the pivot, but bear with me, that's why I'm starting off with this. Ho is the first one. Her tail kind of like fits in the whole thematic of like being a massive paintbrush, right? So that is one of them. So Ho is the first one in the utility slot that you can fit. We were thinking really hard about the other sustains. None of them really have like a graffiti kind of thematic, unfortunately. So for now, utility slot maybe not as much. But other than that, okay, pivot slot. This is where it gets fun. This is where it really gets fun, right? You have 3 characters that can be done. You have one, a massive paintbrush in Hanya to help you fit in your graffiti team. Or you have Jade who signs papers, so it's like kind of like a graffiti in itself. Or you have a cleaner who messes all the mess that your other team members make up. He picks it up, he cleans it up for you, fulfilling the wonderful graffiti team that we have. Is this even meta? I think it probably is going to be quite decently useful because you do have a AoE damage dealer. You have some sort of debuffer, weakness implant on the enemies. You want to like break their weaknesses, debuff them and stuff. You have you can play with a Harmony to buff hyper carry your main DPS. You could play with like a secondary DPS like Jade or Misha. Not perfect, but it is still a fun team that is going to be quite memeable. And last but not least, of course, Ho you have sustain. So it does fill up the role quite nicely too. That's for the graffiti team. Now, waifu lovers. This is when we were done with this, preparing this live on stream, this was one of them that there were too many characters on screen. It's like crazy amounts of teammates on screen. There's so many waifus in Honkai Star Rail. So some of them that work really well. You can see there's like a billion characters in this box over here that you will never ever see in the other of the sections. But for waifu teams, Honkai Star Rail, a ton of waifu. What are we focusing on is characters that generally scale with break. So synergies will be like Himiko, who does okay with break. Susang does okay with break. Queen Iphone. Physical and fire are very, very nice scaling characters with break. You have lightning, which is decent as well. And of course your 2 waifus that scale off with break themselves, Firefly, Shui. These 2 are possible angles of a waifu team. Next up, of course, pivot slot. Again, and a lot of waifus in this slot. You have, but mostly like Harmony characters for now. So you can go with your 2 main break buffers, like Harmony MC and Rami, if you haven't already heard enough in this entire video on these 2 characters. Asta is actually a good replacement for any of you who do not have them. We'll touch on it, of course, in the new player section for those of you wondering. Yukong, again, appeared quite a few times in this video. But 2 other characters that I think is great is Hanya as well as Tingyun. Tingyun gives a lot of attack buff. Hanya gives a lot of attack buff, both of which Rappa skills off with. More importantly, is Tingyun also gives energy, which she does want a lot of uptime Rappa on the out, so you can get always her basic enhance, which is majority of her kit altogether. Hanya buff speed, which Rappa doesn't mind, so all of these characters actually work quite well with her. Utility slot, now we have way more waifus than we did before with Lingsha's appearance, so any of these 3 probably will fill it very well. And of course, if you're finding value in this video so far, don't forget to give us a like, comment, and subscribe, and as well, those guys in chat here doing their best to make it funnier as well. Just give us likes and a shout out as well. Now let's go on with the new player teams in this final slot over here. For any of you who are new players, for players just starting out Honkai Star Rail, I understand that not everyone has like the most spanking limited character in the game, and you want a little bit more relatable team compositions, I think you should start with this angle. One is Harmony MC is free, totally for free. She does a lot of buffing pretty much with your Rappa. Very, very cheap way to build. Esther does a lot of break damage as well. Fire naturally does a lot more break. She buffs the entire team's attack. She buffs speed as well, both of which Rappa appreciates. She pushes the whole team. So Esther is very good here. Other options that you can consider, of course, will be going Mark 7 Hunt if you're looking to pivot her off, move her off into a follow-up team later on. Or of course, Yukong is also pretty decent in this slot. Otherwise, utility slot, you only have two real options for the non-gacha space. Natasha or Lynx, they are both okay. Ultimately, you want to move towards someone like Gallagher, who is unfortunately gacha, so not really too new player friendly. But if you do get him, know that you want to move your utility slot to him as soon as you can. The rest of them are actually pretty decent. And if you guys found this video helpful, we do this every single patch, so you can check back in future if you're looking to build any other characters. And again, check out these two other videos, which I think you might like too. And it's me, EODGamer, and Chad, signing off.